When William was 14, his mother lost her royal title, signed away by the family she married into. As the story's been told, he swore to give it back when he was king. He's keeping that promise now, 15 times over. 15 roles that were Charles's belonged to William. The Duchy of Cornwall and the fortune behind it. The royal warrant, the COP30 podium, where he spoke for the crown. Even the title Camilla has never dared to use. She owns none of it. Every piece is borrowed from a husband still alive, and when Charles is gone, all of it passes to the boy who walked behind his mother's coffin. In this video, we'll reveal each role he took back and which one of them was the promise he made his mother. Role 15 is the one nobody saw coming. Let's count them down. Number 1, the £1.26 billion estate that moved past hers overnight. September the 8th, 2022. The Queen dies at Balmoral, and before the country has dried its eyes, £1.26 billion changes hands. The Duchy of Cornwall, 130,000 acres across 23 counties. No will read, no papers signed. It passed to William the instant his grandmother stopped breathing, because that's been the law since 1337. Camilla was in the house. She said nothing, because the duchy was never hers to want. Last year, it cleared £22.9 million, and William's own duchy secretary let slip the two of them sorted out over WhatsApp. If something has gone well or badly, I will want to tell my boss. Think about that for 1 second. The man running Charles's old estate now calls William the boss, and when William is king, none of it passes to his wife. It drops to George, Diana's grandson. 700 years of money, and Camilla's name has never touched a page of it. And the first thing the country noticed? Not the money. A single word Camilla spent 17 years too frightened to say. Number 2, the title Camilla wouldn't say out loud. The word is Princess of Wales. For 17 years, Camilla had the right to use it. She refused. 17 years. From 2005 until Charles was crowned, she hid behind a softer name, Duchess of Cornwall, and the palace let her hide. Deep down, she knew why. In the country's mind, that title already had an owner, and her name was Diana. So she didn't dare test them. Then Charles became king, and in his first speech as monarch, he handed the Princess of Wales title clean over Camilla's head to the next generation. Our new prince and Princess of Wales. William, Catherine, not Camilla. So Diana's title now sits with Diana's son and the wife he chose, and Kate wears Diana's sapphire ring on the same hand. Camilla had 17 years to claim that name. She never found the nerve. Stay with me. Because the next thing he inherited carried the Queen's coffin on its shoulders. Number 3, the Regiment of the Crown, the Welsh Guards. Charles was their colonel from 1975 until the crown landed on his head, and the second it did, the regiment was William's. These are the men who bore the Queen on their shoulders and marched Charles to his coronation. William has stood with them on Salisbury Plain in the freezing cold, learning their faces one at a time. His wife commands no soldiers, because a king's consort isn't given an army. The uniform follows the bloodline. Hers isn't in it. And Diana knew exactly what a uniform does to a boy. She stood her sons in front of soldiers when they were small, so they'd know the difference between a costume and a calling. It worked. Now, I really want to get to number 15, the role nobody saw coming, the day every last piece of this lands in his hands. But first, 4 through 14, because once you see the pattern underneath them, you can't unsee it. And number 4 didn't happen on a battlefield. It happened inside a family, and it left the other son with nothing. Number 4, the sky roll taken from one son and given to the other. This was Harry's regiment, the Army Air Corps. Charles was its colonel-in-chief for 31 years, and the title was always tipped to land with Harry next. Harry flew Apache helicopters in Afghanistan. The roll had his name on it. So who do you think got it? Instead, in May 2024, at the base at Middle Wallop, Charles pinned it on William, and Harry walked away with nothing. The family read it loud and clear. The future of this house flies through the older son, and the heir collects even what the spare was promised. Diana tried to raise those two as equals. This is the palace deciding they never were. As for Camilla, she isn't even in the room. No command, no title, nothing that survives the day the reign ends. She just holds a key that only works while her husband is breathing. Then there's an order 300 years old, and the cruelest part is the room Camilla was sitting in the day it changed hands. Number 5. The 300-year-old order shall never lead. Westminster Abbey, May 2025, William is made Great Master of the Most Honorable Order of the Bath, head of the entire order, at the first bath service of his father's reign. Charles had held that chair since 1975. He handed it to his son while knights knelt and swore their oaths under that roof. And here's what makes that room ache. The last time the world watched Diana there, it was her funeral. Her boy walked behind her, 15 years old. Now he runs the place. Sit with that. Camilla was in that same abbey, in the audience, smiling. 5 rows down, and not one of them was ever the wife's. Then comes a seal worth a fortune, and Diana, in her entire life, was never once allowed to hold it. Number 6. The royal seal Diana was never given. The royal warrant. It's the stamp that lets a company put the royal arms on its products, worth a fortune to whoever earns the right to grant it. In 2025, the palace named William and Kate grantors of the royal warrant, their own seal. And listen, because this one detail should make Camilla flinch. Kate is the first Princess of Wales allowed to grant a warrant in 116 years. Diana never could. Camilla can, but only because she's married to the king, and that's the whole trap. Her seal stops working the day his heart does. Each warrant she grants dies with his reign. His doesn't. Hers was only ever rented. Diana, meanwhile, made a thing famous just by wearing it once. She never needed a stamp, but paper and seals are one thing. The next one is the chair the king himself sits in. Watch who's sitting in it now. Number 7. The investiture chair. February 2024. Days after Charles told the world he had cancer, William walked into Windsor Castle and ran his first investiture in his father's place. He read the words. He pinned the honors. He sat in the monarch's chair. He's done it ever since. As of this year, the entire job of placing the country's highest honors on its heroes belongs to 3 people: the King, Princess Anne, and William. That's the list. Her name doesn't appear anywhere on it. That chair belongs to the crown and the blood that carries it, not the woman who married in. When the king is too ill to stand at the center of his own kingdom, the country doesn't turn to his wife. It turns to Diana's boy. 7 roles gone. The money, the title, the regiment, the sky, the order, the seal, the king's own chair, every one the heir's, not one the wife's. And the next? Charles built his whole name on it for 50 years. His son took it without a word. Number 8, the green crown that was Charles's whole identity. For half a century, the environment was Charles. It was his whole identity, the thing the cartoonists drew him as. And while almost nobody was watching, his son took the lead and didn't give it back. William's been patron of the Tusk Trust for nearly 20 years, going after the men who slaughter elephants and rhinos. And he built United for Wildlife to drag the traffickers into daylight. Charles talked to his plants in the 70s and got laughed at. William turned that same instinct into a global operation and made the world listen. And where do you think he learned that? Diana never lectured a soul. She knelt beside a dying man and let one photograph do the arguing for her. That instinct, the one the palace spent years trying to drill out of her son, is the one he aimed at the planet his children have to grow up on. But here's where it stops being about what he inherited. Number 9, he built from nothing, and he carved his own name into the front of it. Number 9, the global stage he built himself. It didn't exist until William made it exist. The Earthshot Prize. Launched in 2020, it hands £1 million each to 5 people, solving the planet's biggest problems every year for 10 years straight. 5 years in, it's been staged in London, Boston, Singapore, Cape Town, and last November, Rio. Most royals are handed their platforms. Diana never waited for one. She walked into a minefield in Angola and dared the cameras to follow. William inherited that exact nerve. He built his own, stamped his name on it, and made it so no death and no coronation can ever take it from him. Every room Camilla has stood in, somebody else had to let her in. And then he did the thing the palace guards more fiercely than almost anything it owns. He became its voice. Number 10. The day he became the crown's voice. Belém, Brazil, the 6th of November, 2025. William stands at the COP30 summit and gives his first speech for King Charles and the British government. He opens it in Portuguese. Not as a prince, though. That day, William is the voice of the crown itself. And think about who never got that. Diana commanded the world's cameras, but never once the crown's voice. Her son has both. The monarchy has a sound now, and the sound is William's. Camilla has never spoken for the crown on a world stage, and she never will, because the crown doesn't speak through the king's wife, it speaks through the air. Now the second half, that was William the Prince, doing the public job. What comes next is the boy. And the boy starts with a silence. His mother shattered first. Number 11, the silence. Diana broke, pointed at a new target. April 1987. Diana reaches out and shakes the bare hand of a man dying of AIDS, back when people honestly believed you could catch it off a doorknob. No gloves, no fear. One photograph and a nation's panic started to crack. William watched what a single gesture like that could do, and in 2016 he aimed the very same thing at mental health. He launched Heads Together to get ordinary people talking about what was happening in their own heads. A future king standing up in public, saying out loud that it's all right to not be all right. Diana didn't leave him a charity. She left him a reflex. The flat refusal to look away from people who are hurting. The palace tried for years to school it out of him. They lost. And here's where the institutions fall away completely. The next one isn't a charity or a title. It's a boy, his mother, and a door she walked him through when he was 11. Number 12, the shelter Diana walked him into at 11, 1993. Diana takes her 11-year-old son by the hand and walks him into a homeless shelter called The Passage. No press pack, no cameras invited. She wanted William to see the people the palace preferred to pretend weren't there. He said the visit stayed with him, and he grew up to become that shelter's patron. Camilla never did anything close to this. There's no childhood to reach back into, no mother who thought to show her the cold side of a city. No briefing wrote this into him. It was Diana's hand wrapped tight around a little boy's. And this is the part that gets me every time. The institution tried so hard to raise that softness out of him. His mother had buried it too deep for them to reach. 2 roles left, and I keep wanting to jump to the last one, the crown itself, the one nobody saw him reaching for. But first, the role Diana built with her own hands, years before Camilla ever wore a tiara. Number 13, the role Diana built before Camilla ever wore a tiara, 1992. Diana becomes patron of Centrepoint, the charity for homeless young people. That's 13 full years before Camilla married Charles, 13 years before she set a tiara on her head. Diana didn't inherit that role. She built it, and the moment she died, it went to William, 2005, his first patronage at 23. And he didn't stop there. In 2023, he launched Homewards, a mission to end homelessness across Britain, with some of those homes built on his own duchy land, the same duchy from number 1. This past December, he marked 20 years carrying his mother's charity. 20 years. Let that land. Nothing in Camilla's life reaches back like that because she was never the mother. This role started with Diana, skipped clean over Camilla, and landed with the one person who spent his whole life finishing what his mom started, which leaves the 2 that matter most, and the next one he's already doing, right now, while his father is sick. Number 14. The king's job already in his hands. He's a counselor of state, one of the few people legally allowed to stand in for Charles when Charles can't. Diana's boy pulled into the role sooner than anyone planned. The investitures, the speeches, the summits. That's not a prince filling his diary. That's a country watching its next king rehearse the part in real time. And the cruelest part of it lands on Camilla. She's a counselor of state, too, right now. But only because she's the king's wife. The day Charles dies, that title doesn't pass to her. It evaporates in her hands. Think about that. His turns into the throne itself. The one job they look like they share is the exact job she loses the second the reign changes, while he steps into the only role that was ever coming for him. The boy who walked behind his mother's coffin is now the man a whole kingdom leans on the moment its king grows weak, which leaves one, the last role, the one nobody saw him reaching for, because you don't reach for this one, you wait for it. Number 15, the crown itself. This is it, the one nobody saw coming. Not a regiment, not a charity, not a seal, a chair, or a stage. The crown, the throne itself. William is the heir the Constitution names. When it comes to him, all 14 roles you've just heard land in his hands, to keep or give away. So does everything Camilla ever borrowed. The title, the money, the jewels she only ever wore on loan. So here's the thing I promised you'd see. Camilla never owned any of it. Not one role was ever hers. She's been a guest inside Diana's son's future the entire time, and the lease runs out the day Charles is gone. And the promise? His mother lost her title. Number 2 on this list, the title Camilla never dared to touch. He couldn't give it back to Diana herself. So he gave it to his side and kept it from hers. And when the crown is finally his, the woman who took Diana's place will stand in his abbey and bow to him. 15 roles. Not one belongs to Camilla. All of it belongs to the crown. And the crown is about to belong to Diana's son. Those are the 15, all sitting in palace announcements, duchy accounts, and the king's own words. But the reason William could take them this cleanly has almost nothing to do with William. The palace drew the lines for the heir alone, and Camilla was never standing inside them, not for a single day. If you want to see the fortunes she actually loses the day Charles is gone, the titles and privileges that vanish the second the reign changes, that video is right here.